it's time for action.
The past X amount of flying time has been spent perfecting the cyanide design to convert loud nows into silent types. It's an audible poison, airborne in speaker frequencies, and easily contracted viral infection, leaving you needing sleep. Critiquing this piece by piece, you're tweaking from the symptoms. You're fiending for free CDs instead of crank binge fixes. This isn't exactly your standard pyrotechnics performance with background dancer backflips as a lip sync diversion. It's an open ventilation system for self-expression sermons, a soundproof confessional booth with the mic behind the curtain. I say a lot of words to cure the burdens from my back. It works to a certain extent considering my current circumstance. I say a lot of words woven like a rhythmic rope tied to the 2-ton anchor that capsized your dream boat. I'm a bubble burster to those who try to burst my bubble first. It's like fencing with words in hopes to puncture each other's nerves. No muzzle works to keep my mouth from muttering muffled words. You couldn't shut me up if you set me off the disgruntled face of this troubled earth. You can meet me halfway to the moon. I'll be departing as soon as I shoplift enough party balloons. Until then, I'll be escaping via THC and notebook entries into an open-ended oasis rendered by the pages of my memory. And I'm not leaving the page until the cyanide has completed testing and is ready to infect anyone exposed to its hopeful widespreading. It's like hot potato with live grenades or hopscotch on the highway. You can either deny this or die trying to decipher my mind state. You can pick this apart down to the skeleton, but it might take you days. You might be better off digesting 100 rusty razor blades. Headache the size of tomorrow's ambitions. Just another day spent wishing for a grain of fulfillment. Progressing as a couch potato doesn't come with bragging rights. That's why I try to chisel at my passion every passing night. I got a headache the size of tomorrow's ambitions. Just another day spent wishing for a grain of fulfillment. Progressing as a couch potato never comes with bragging rights. That's why I try to chisel at my passion every passing night. Welcome you to everything you've ever dreamed of, turned upside down into the opposite of what your dream was. I suggest that you leave a filter for the nightly premise of your subconscious and nocturnal good luck charm for you from sedative hypnotic. I'd like to welcome you to everything you've ever dreamed of, turned upside down into the opposite of what your dream was. I recommend some more milk to chase the taste of preparation for the 8 hours of drifting through the many excavations. I spend the sunrise counting sheep in my eyelids, just waiting to take flight through these dreams that I pilot as the captain of the ship that's self-propelled by my thoughts. My eyes are the windows and my soul is the black box. Post-Armageddon roach broken biological clock. I take Captain Hook's approach and leave the ticking to the clock. From midnight to 3 I walk around my house until I'm lost, and then find time for plenty of cigarette breaks to take some pressure off. The hours of 3 a.m. to 5 I spent refueling my lighters. It's not like I'm never tired, I'm just scared to death of spiders, and this causes an involuntary second wind adrenaline burst. I won't let myself lay down until my whole room is searched. It's just my ever-growing worry word attached to bad assumptions. As the morning leads on, it eats away my normal functions. From being able to step my heavy feet up out this dungeon to being stuck trying to figure out this carrot sprouted from a pumpkin. And each night there's always something to psychoanalyze and pick apart to keep me from falling asleep while the morning's still dark. I finally fall asleep at 7 only to wake up 4 hours later to either telecom bill collectors or a doorstep. And it says I've been living the same day for 9 months straight. Just wake me up when the groundhog decides to escape. Cause for me to say that things are peachy and great would just be one of those exaggerated statements that all of us make. I'd like to welcome you to everything you've ever dreamed of, turned upside down into the opposite of what your dream was. This foggy filter for the subconscious doesn't really clean up the sedative shattered shards and leaving dreams in scattered parts. By the time that you awaken, you forget the shapes you've taken, but it's all interpreted through reoccurring deja vu. The only way that I survive this alternate reality is by clutching my favorite pillow and checking under my bed hourly. courage to tell him to leave, to make some headroom, to make it so I can breathe and sit at ease within my bedroom, without the parameters of a leash and the constant annoyance of my worry-wart leech, resembling my blurry memories of some storybook beast. Half deer, half dragon, as the host to my guests I feel obligated to chill. I generally sit on my couch from 12 p.m. up until the PS2 freezes up, or we're at a Dr. Skipper, or whenever these guys decide to get a ride from my sister, and that could be anywhere from 3 to 6 o'clock in the evening. That's time that could be spent cleaning spider webs from my ceiling. And my walls don't talk, but my couch is a living being, bleeding chains to my carpet for trips to the market when needing a breath of fresh air before the sun starts depleting. I get 15 minutes of daylight before the stars start increasing. I then spend the sunset daydreaming that I'm a pirate with a bottle of rum to chase my chicken pot pie diet, and a parrot on my shoulder to reassure me that I'm fine, so I can carry on with my evening without trouble on my mind. But sometimes I like to see how long it takes in one sitting to finally find the forgotten location of my buried beginning. So when my brain waves crash on the sands of time, I'll be able to resurface without a freeze frame of mind.
Deprivations based on triple-digit significance. Unconsciously checking clocks in 3-minute increments. These numbers could be the signs of sliding doors of my destiny, but it's probably just the gods of coincidence messing with me. Cause on random occasions my curiosity to know exactly what time it is has got me checking the plugs on appliances till I'm scratching my head in weak attempts to decipher it. It goes 3, 3, 3, repeat the cycle. And my sleep deprivations based on triple-digit significance. Unconsciously checking clocks in 3-minute increments. These numbers could be the signs of sliding doors of my destiny. It's probably just the gods of coincidence messing with me. I mean, it seems to be more than numerical lyrical paranoia. It's definitely not your average mental case in a basket of loose screws with conventional funny farm hospital maladies, but it might be reason enough for me to be submitted. So I boycott therapy as a reasonable solution to find what the number 3's relationship is with my destiny's blueprint. Cause I'll glance at the clock in bewilderment, clueless at the same time, twice daily, almost always on accident. That's a little exaggerated, but it's enough to start asking if lucky number 3 is what subconsciously keeps me passionate, or if it's meaningless analysis through a self-constructed labyrinth of questioning decisions over consistent sightings of a symbol, assuming there's hidden depth in the digital wall clock pixels, or a special reason I see 3 when life is most pivotal. Maybe I'm just victim to the repercussions of daily ritual. Either way, I'm a stir-crazy hermit searching for the purpose of a symbol. I've never come to a conclusion of what it all could mean. There's no logical explanation of why it's such a big deal, other than the spine chills received and the feeling of reassurance when I accidentally spot my specific lucky number on purpose. My sleep deprivation's based on triple-digit significance, unconsciously checking clocks in 3-minute increments. These numbers could be the signs of sliding doors of my destiny, but it's probably just the gods of coincidence messing with me. On random occasions, my curiosity to know exactly what time it is has got me checking the plugs on appliances till I'm scratching my head in weak attempts to decipher it. It goes 3, 3, 3, repeat the cycle. My sleep deprivation's based on triple-digit significance, unconsciously checking clocks in 3-minute increments. These numbers could be the signs of sliding doors of my destiny. It's probably just the gods of coincidence messing with me, cause on random occasions, my curiosity to know exactly what time it is has got me checking the plugs on appliances till I'm scratching my head in weak attempts to decipher it. It goes 3, 3, 3, repeat the cycling. 3, 3, 3, repeat the cycling. Simantic, aka Abbott. Just call me Richie though. Over here. I'm from the Digital Citadel. 350 London Drive. Check it out. I type 10 words per minute and I can't work the stove. I'm incapable of washing dishes, let alone my clothes. Got $0 in the bank and the rare allowance for twomps. I go to sleep at 4 a.m. and wake up around 1 o'clock. Jobless with no licenses and what it's cracked up to be. My deteriorating motivations like a butterfly's burning wings still fluttering, thus explaining my association with a wide variety of nobodies. Litter bugs, potty mouths, toy aisle thieves, Lego architects, among other assorted cretins and freaks. Remembering daily updates of the captain's log is essential discipline in order to achieve stealth ninja recognition. When the trees, leaves, or candy bars and raindrops morph into chocolate milk, I'll be the one deciphering the science of how the bottle's spilt. When our united sweet tooth is exploited by media marketing, we'll already be endorsing the Nutri-Sweet that we've been gargling. Sort of the nicotine patch for sugar addicts with heavy pockets. Fuck a steady job when I can slang sugar cane for steady profit. Cause everyone wants a bite from the same tamale. Take your modest proportion of freedom and stick it up your mommy. We want it all. Let's invest in .com super malls and tan through bikinis for the summer fall catalog. I'm sick of being surrounded by window shopping peeping toms, workaholic father figures and neglected soccer moms, occupied with laptops, cell phones, and other things that beep. They sponsor door-to-door salesmen and Jesus beliefs, keeping them feeding their spare change to woven baskets to keep peace with their incorporated God just in case the apocalypse is breached. I'd rather attempt a verbal conversation with a strung out mute than put my ears through an hour of listening to the supposed truth. Who am I to know though? I keep drinking after I puked. I break my New Year's resolution annually with nothing proved. I promise one more excuse from my mouth and I'll staple my tongue to the table without a tangible reason. But I never follow through cause I procrastinate so long my willpower weakens, and eventually I'm lazy with my face down in the deep end, contemplating the pretense guilt trip toward what I should have done. I should have slept all weekend and avoided the burning sun. Unlike these urban nature enthusiasts camping out at Walmart, toasting s'mores with tire irons and miscellaneous car parts. Residential district for carny hustler card sharks, cutthroat gypsy merchants selling peyote out their backyard. And some kid trying to make it big off his Kid Rock fan art. He thought he could get laid just cause of where his van's parked. He forgot the alias and how sweaty his hands are. He went in for the kiss but his breath reeked with tan bark. He hucks propane out of boredom for fucking sheep. You can tell a country boy from city folk from the number of teeth. They sport two-striped shell toes and generic fat farm. Tommy Hilfiger tats, Confederate flags and fast cars. Dukes of hazardous fashion with shotgun racks in their trunks, engraved initials on belt buckles and custom beer mugs. So drink up, pride your mullet and stain that wife beater. We don't want any broken stereotypes from a hick in a white t-shirt. I hated my school cause I never had a nice teacher. I'd stick my hand in her coffee and go home with a high fever. So here I am with my thumbs up my ass like Roger Ebert, except I only criticize myself as a helpless bottom feeder. But I'm not half as bad as these Gilroy kids that act hella scandalous, so I narrowed my association down to beneficial and Babel fish. But Scott lives in Texas and Mr. Anderson up in Fremont, and 4 hours on the bus is too long, especially when the weed's gone. This song is for those who drunk off Jack to climb their beanstalk, and the angels that cry blood with no shoulder to bleed on. I've been in similar situations, but it's hard to sympathize, being as rare as it is for a tangible tear to leave my eyes. But that's most likely cause my emotions are frozen numb from $2 joint overdoses, blunt roaches, and getting drunk. They call it therapy for the weak-hearted. I call it so fucking what if I eventually trade my feelings for less brain cells and a beer gut. Although the fidgeting, nicotine, temper tantrums are over, I still get pissy and irritable the first couple days of remaining sober. So once my therapy's complete and I feel I can see straight, I'll poke my head out of my shell, change my mind, and go back into the comforting habits that have helped me harness my fragile passion and return me to being my half-assed alter ego named memory absence. But at least I'm not stocked up on searchable gloves out of caution, fearing our fingerprints are canyons for nomadic microcosm, like these overly germ-conscious OCD hypochondriacs with gas mask fashion sense dressed in biowar body bags. I think we're only here once, so fuck it, bathe in the dirt. Expect your death daily and live them like your last days on earth. I once sketched a timeline documenting the stages of my confidence, titled Times Forgotten, Heart Lost, Buried in Inconsistent Promises. It was a compilation of songs inspired by personal strategy, including an exact replica of my unattached apathy. Michael Jackson's tattooed eyeliner. You couldn't fade it with a highlighter. These seeping Sharpie marks outlast any cloud spelled out by a skyrider sellout with the left behind passion. Life's a sidewinder roller coaster corkscrew. 1 minute it's a straightaway, the next it drops into a loop and then spits you 40 feet down a 60-degree angle, straight into culture shock, then back up to semi-stable and around again until you think you have the sequence pounded in enough to keep you up and even higher than Leviathan. Once the string of luck is cut, we get more stoned than Goliath did. A gram a day keeps stress away. I take my daily vitamin. It keeps me feeling neutral in between the black and white of life, living with no restriction, with nothing needed to sacrifice. Beautiful bliss of ignorance, staying in tune with now, forgetting yesterday the minute I fell asleep and drowned in the clean slate of today. I take for granted too often, crossing off obligations to routine to not get lost in. So I bury my face in an unwritten book, which to some means I'm in need of a gravitational push to keep my feet grounded, to somehow conform to the service of turning my circuits to work the gears of an empty purpose. Once I get a job, I'll make my nervousness obvious with a newly found audience to make fun of my awkwardness.
Rearranging tips on a field day, hide behind them, not a promise of proportion, but a decent spot nonetheless. It sells blanks and tangles chords, a home of improvision within a singing voice and cab fare. My hand signals remote but noteworthy. He's patting himself on accident and impatiently ask for purpose. Significant or not, my life walk exhibit meets rations. We're home free and counting. End to end, spend happy, laughing with the hatchet on the weekend. American sideshow, a wide-eyed version of permagran with cold sneakers sleeping on my side. This portion thought, gut bucket spaciously blank and cold phobia. Looking cells, true calling hobbing, and the predicate is bottom fit rubbish, and I'm aware. Offers that was looking game of sale, pitch split a seam of vague resolution, strip a seat behind the kitchen blade. Barely tolerance, it feeds a foreign tongue discussing any pork log, hard thumb. Somber stall offering maybe trial and end sooner than never, and I'm excluding news, dim setting the blurred perfect meaning in its entirety.
Checking the life of the stone throwers, and I am on the outside. I would want to be on the inside. Getting heckled by the following fossils of released tension and passive aggression. I'm writing rhymes for rich white kids living in the Midwest, wearing bandanas and rolling their pant legs up. I couldn't be special because I'm just not that retarded. I'm sorry, my schedule couldn't be more flexible. Emotions are expendable and hardly mendable. Contagious half-empty glass works like residual sugars and clockwork. The pallid cadaverous caveman is not yet the dream of the bird, but of the ants in great numbers that gather below the surface, sharing the same pre-lit theology inundated on the outskirts, but to the disguise the meaning might seem like meaningless ramble to the naked ear. The walls have gone deaf and the wicker basket's mouth is running dry.
Routine practice makes perfect words to live by, said internally with the same effect as a broken record. I should have spared the effort taken and clogging my ventilation and used it towards dealing with the fact that I'm stupid. I'd hang my wrung neck out to dry if my legs would cooperate for at least as long as it takes for me to fall to the floor. My feet have pitter-pattered different patterns of the same sidewalks ever since I could remember. But they don't make insoles for people like me, cause they know they'll never be able to correct my flat feet. This is a doorbell ditching anthem for tandem scavenger hunters going door to door collecting things they know will never need. In the closet, compulsive rubber band ball architect concealing his true identity through slang terms that haven't been used in decades. Kinda like you and your brother's uncomfortable age gap, the culture shock, the first step out of concentration camp with the second step directed to the appropriate post office to pick up his 30 years of mail and retreat back to his closed closet.
Overhead waves that reside where I hang my head, on doorknobs where I put my rusty screwdriver in your strip screw hole, and I never felt more alone. The living room straight stare, pulling these heads with a witty grin, and the outside's most comfortable, leaving the place of comfort. Utmost curiosity and find the influence of karaoke on the Orient, and the time that's spent just finding the perfect band-aid and choice words for distance.
I found a comfortable residence beneath this familiar stone, nested in a bed of rocks that I've learned to call home. Within this aggregate I became an agoraphobic turtle strategist with chronic hermit crabbiness and broken oars to paddle with. I made it harder for myself by believing I can't escape. Where I live it's illegal for people to dream while they're awake. It takes so long to break habitual routine. It takes so long for you to know what I mean. I'll put my patience in a safe place and conserve my use until that day I endlessly wait to deserve the truth. So when and if that day comes before my knees decide to buckle, I'd like to work up the breath to reinflate my bursted bubble.
Just a stone's throw away from everything that I say rhymes with thorns. Never cautious or careful for what I present, it's just resentment. And I've been beating my brains and testing its strength with a 7-year chokehold. And every time that I deny myself, another coin's thrown into the well. I don't excel in society and I'm low in sobriety, but if only time could tell words of misfortune, and I could be speechless and never have to pass a stick.
I am the way I am from first-hand experience. I took the path of a scaredy cat and found it's better to be curious. I'd rather be killed than think of death and keep on fearing it. So thanks to this open mind, I don't take anything too serious. You are the way you are because of the scars from what you've been through. But how in the fuck would I know? I've never been you. It's just my nature to judge and observe as a critic. You all do the same thing, I just learned to admit it. But they're the only ones that win. I made it past the finish line behind some heartless men of tin. It's the perpetuating loop of predetermined bad luck for pussy-footing pushovers and perky do-gooder fucks. I'm a victim of my kindness, come contribute to what bothers me. I let you stay at my house and you had nothing to offer me. What gives you and your friends the freedom to walk in and start robbing me? I believe it goes way beyond the fucked economy. It's probably because of drugs or no love shown at home. A self-proclaimed hobo with a skate park full of clones. It could have been anybody, but I blame that specific group cause they were over every day and then all of a sudden poof. It's not like I have any proof or that it even matters. It's that everyone I bet has turned out to be a bastard. I'm a single out rapper slash mooch slash slacker that claimed to be my brother but was more of a backstabber. I've never met someone so religious yet salty and bitter.
bitter. You're probably proud of yourself as a righteous sinner. Why don't you read your commandments, you adultering hypocrite? I wonder what your parents would think of the news in your 50s. I may be unreliable to perform songs I don't like, but it took you 6 months to give me back my battered bike. And Sam, thank you for showing me how to be a man that was really grown up of you to punch me at the cake can. Nose is bigger than your heart, judging by the grudge you grip and how you tried to get your best friend's girl to touch your dick. I couldn't care less what any of you think of this. Cry me an ocean, here's a fucking handkerchief. I am the way I am and I always have been. I'd like to stay this way no matter whatever happens. And in the likely scenario that something will sway me, I'll just cross my fingers and hope my kids don't hate me. You are who you are and there's nothing you can do. But how would I know? I've never been in your shoes. And even if I had, they wouldn't fit me the same. I'd walk a quarter of a mile and start to bitch and complain. Good morning, California. 22 hours straight. I've been awake. Shit. Excuse me. About to sing from the rest of the world, detached from society. I'm a jobless fuck, nothing else to do with this spare time to stay up all night and write rap songs about staying up all night. It's just another sleepless night, slipped out of my tight grip. Still awake at 6:48 a.m. on my ninth wind. The sky is painted a perfect blend of blue, purple, and pink, but the swirling clouds don't mesh well with commuter smog stink. It stings my eyes, but it's worth the glimpse of the sunrise. 1,000 words this picture gives always leaves me tongue-tied and shuts me the fuck up so I can take in the brainstorm and watch the squirrels gather for their breakfast acorns. The freeway sings sipping traffic melodies and car horns. This must be what Monday early hours are made for, to wake up for work and slave for 8 more. I'm not even sleepy when my neighbors leave their front door, but it's too cold for me to want to leave on my own will, so I take it all in from behind my windowsill. I take it all in from behind my windowsill. I take it all in from behind This is a sleepless submission, my pistons working overtime. My nocturnally motorized bio clock's rotation started the night I fell in love at first sight with PlayStation. Ever since then my schedules revolved around the AM. Some say that's when Satan operates his evil playpen, but I don't agree, I guess it depends on where you're looking. I've seen demons in the daytime bribing kids with poison cookies, but for me the moonshine inspires meetings with beat machines, meaningless freestyles and free writing without reasoning. I used to duel sleeping pills to the death to stay awake, until I formed a dependency cause they made me hallucinate, and I loved it. My addictive personality seems to keep me productive, but a sedative addiction would only lead my feet to kick the bucket. I half quit cigarettes and that's a major step for me. Now I'm an excessive pothead relying on it as a brain-numbing remedy. I never stress enemies when I'm steady smoking heavily, cause it keeps me in the mood from midnight until I run out of energy, which usually results in carrying conversations alone, giving into an infomercial with a fixed gaze on the TV glow, and attentive to whatever product they're desperate to sell. I'm only here cause there's nothing else to do but chill with myself. Whatever pushes you aside and fucks you over. This is just a portion of my sort of partial carpal tunnel vision, frostbitten, cross-eyed outlook on my life. My desensitized sockets have seen the same sights, or at least some similar on what seems to be the same night that I've been reliving over and over. Just another glitch in the moon cycle. Let's all place faith in the buffoon's Bible and expect to find ourselves, or just sit here like me and wait for time to tell. Cause I once realized something that I'll never forget. The real world exists in my television set, and everything that happens outside of the box is just a repercussion of everything that we've ever watched. From the way that we walk, to the way we wear our fakest smiles. We drink water from label bottles and borrow other people's styles. It's just the nature of a full-bred professional couch potato, bull-headed lazy lummox with a perfect posture to slouching ratio. The evolution back to the form of a monkey fetus, proving anyone can be a part of the church of subgenius. Jesus was a sacrilegious Sagittarius, and his dad planted a garden with the shovel that will bury us. He's carried us for long enough, he's got other planets to supervise. On the 8th day he left us with clogged arteries from each supersize. Value meal, heart disease in a handbag, packaged in movie propaganda, then sold back to the bandstand. This overconsumption is too delicious to be killing me. That's the mentality of America's global influence abilities. This earth is a flat planet, proven fact by trapped or merchants. 3 billion opinions swayed with every unconscious impulse purchase. It's like mockery assumptions when too paranoid of how you're acting. They're not laughing at you, they're laughing with you without you laughing. That's just the arrogant closed mind of someone who thinks he's the greatest, with paid vacation arrangements to ego inflation banquets. This castle needs maintenance in unfixable places, not to mention the disrespect that the drawbridge embraces. If you keep pissing on my welcome mat, we're gonna have some problems. I got a waterless moat with no hope at the bottom. I knew your whole standpoint from before you even stood up. Why would you dream of paying taxes in the millions? You're just contributing to the unbalanced pH level of this cesspool. Contrary to patterns, there's infinite ways to look at life. It's easy to get engulfed in carpal tunnel vision, single sight, blinded by the stresses, pacified by the TV screen, secluded on the corner couch. No one else could treat me mean. I believe that I was stuck, so I remain in hiding. I'm confused as hell, but at least I'm trying to do the right thing. When life loses love and becomes a lot less exciting, it's hard to conjure the strength to pick up a pen and start writing. It's like the death of Page Fright, the resurrection of your living, born again like an 8-fingered convicted Christian, with a ring from each wife that's buried beneath the kitchen. You should put the same pride into each page that's written. It's not worth holding back and leaving feelings unsettled. You can keep your level head, but have a head on many levels, cause that'll keep you open as long as this earth spun. This is as close to finger painting as my words can come. Powerless populace stands me, Richie Beck, suspecting the audience, distracted by the spellbinding spectacles, delusions, inducing an awkward self-image and complementary confusion, soaking in the inescapable, irrelevant priorities, slowly washing my brain of its individual paint. Wide brush genius strokes replaced with straight lines, confined in a tight margin, borderline in my absent mind, flatlining my faulty concept of rational opinion, till I'd rather have someone else make all of my decisions. Although we can't be heard, we're still simulated rebels, living in the modern boundaries that can find our full potential. The soil so broke can take me no further but down, catch my fall if need be, but I'm prone to hit face first. Fuck till I decide to sternly take a stand, deserving freedom as if self-taught to fly. Wings clipped, spade, neutered, straight, stripped of a straight future, pursuing my lazy ass degenerate lack of consistency. A baton above the palm when I go against what's stripping me. The motivation process is like boot camp conditioning. There's no way of convincing me with half-ass incentives. I have to want to do it for myself and my intentions. I want to do this, I want to be that, but we must divide in order to survive. So come test drive an alternate you, renew again, trade shoes with who you probably would have been shattering. Do what you want as long as you're the one that's mattering.
Sometimes I catch a glimpse of the sun. It makes me want to keep looking despite making my eyes numb. The light that guides you is the same that blinds you. Apply that to your desire to chill but never having the time to. Sometimes I like to stare at the sun. It makes me want to look away cause of the damage it's done. But why turn back now? I'm already half mine. I'll return to my priorities if I ever have time.
I'm dropping out before I feel the death is waiting for me. Your fashion classification, beauty pageant, success story. My leave of absence will leave no empty space where I wasn't. There will always be a replacement to fill in for my achy stomach. And before I opt out, retreating back to my dungeon, I have a few requests I'd love to see considered for construction. I'd like my own island, a lifetime supply of psilocybin, and guaranteed seclusion from the overcommuted lifeless tribesman huffing gas in his garage, attempting a suicidal siphon. That's one of the symptoms synonymous with social compliance. So if you want to escape normalcy but can't afford a toilet, sell pixie dust to non-believers and keep Neverland unexploited. In a glass world that's tinted black, you can't experience life and trapped peeping through a crack. In a glass world that's tinted black, you can't experience life and trapped peeping through a crack. In a glass world that's tinted black, you can't experience life and trapped peeping through a crack. In a glass world that's tinted black, you can't experience life and trapped peeping through a crack. We're all implanted with picturesque visions of perfection, giving pressure cooked ambition to fulfill our socially destined chosen placement is another basic wasted tenet to Earth's degraded fading aesthetic richness, only seen by the oblivious few lucky enough to have witnessed, or through the developing imagination of a carefree infant. Otherwise, our separate segregated lives are no different from our individual desire for the same prize trophy ticket to affording the convenience of distraction from the spirit in its never-ending direction toward a more fearless existence. It's easy to ignore it at the doorstep of decision. We're too concerned with our image from the third-person position. Those occasional glimpses of reality don't count until it sees his as a glimpse in his reality all around. It's just a split decision away to save the heart from shattering. Do what you want as long as you're the one that's mattering.
Sometimes I catch a glimpse of the sun. It makes me want to keep looking despite making my eyes numb. The light that guides you is the same that blinds you. Apply that to your desire to chill but never having the time to. Sometimes I like to stare at the sun. It makes me want to look away cause of the damage it's done. But why turn back now? I'm already half mine. I'll return to my priorities if I ever have time.
consecutive nights. It's like over-analysis is especially inescapable when there's nothing left to do but attempt to avoid the inevitable. Questions relentlessly reiterated for hours as if I'm capable of providing satisfactory answers. Truth is. I'll never know the reason the sun needs to shine, or how the earth's rotation ages living faces over time. But I like to draw my own conclusions in the middle of the night, just to stop picking at everything I don't understand about life. Like, why am I here, and will I get a chance to live before I have to die? Is there more purpose to life than surfing the channels on my satellite? Live in a castle in the sky, or an optimistic state of mind, or a religious scare tactic to keep the masses acting right? Does God exist beyond church books and hollow plastic statues? Your faith based on the dancing flame of a Jesus can? If God did create us, don't you think he should have been a better father and stuck around instead of leaving Mother Earth at the altar? He's been setting bad examples for men ever since first Christmas, when he returned to watch his son being born accompanied by his mistress. That's a perfect example of an elaborated vision made up of too much free time to analyze life and decisions. And that's the kind of shit that keeps me tossing and turning till I'm twisted in the sheets, missing sleep, searching for the missing link. Between now and when all my questions are answered, will there ever be peace in my brain again? I can only pray to the transparent sky. I'll know the things I don't before my demise, otherwise I'll be wallowing, wondering why we live to one day eventually die. Between now and when all my questions are answered, will there ever be peace in my brain again? I can only pray to the transparent sky. I'll know the things I don't before my demise, otherwise I'll be wallowing, wondering why we have to work to live and survive. So many, 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 so many questions, so many, so many questions, so many, so many, so many, so many questions. Everyone's a liar. Daily deception. Everyone's a liar. I hope one day I'll learn my lesson. Everyone's a liar. I have neglected my instinct far too many times. Everyone's a liar. Everyone's a liar. Everyone's a liar. Everyone's a liar. We all march in a pre-mapped pattern, chanting boot camp survival songs with military stance-up and pentameter recite-alongs. Your drill sergeant slaughtered and still tipping back the bottle, conducting the steel cup rhythm section chain gang ensemble, slopping his finger in the air to arrange the sway and wobble of the halfway orchestrated faded sport percussion drum roll. Building hype of pillars out of posters and promotion, but no one's heard your shit. I assume the pillar's broken. He's in it for the money, he's not in it for himself. He doesn't do it for the art, he only does it for the wealth. And that's the majority of the soldiers produced, wearing required jersey uniforms for Timbo army boots, barking the freshest slang coined by record execs, rewriting the English language so it doesn't make sense. Now the whole entire world has communication problems. No one understands each other, so they're using guns to solve them. And every time a bullet leaves the holes in which it entered, they blame the general content of your entertainment center. Yet they control the censorship of what we get to see. They show us what they protest: bloodshed, sex, and greed. Am I wrong to assume that powerful men are insincere and as compassionate as bad actors practice smile from ear to ear? Not even the president is genuine enough to write his own speech, let alone speak from his heart without a scripted sheet. Same goes for any emperor, never too busy for a back rub, conquering other countries from the comfort of his bathtub. He did it to be lazy, he's not in it for the nation. He did it for the power trip around the world type sensation, with a finger ready to push buttons capable of soaring, holding a wine glass, toasting peace while engaging war. Throw your hands up if you've ever forged your time card or cheated on your final exam to get where you are. Put them back down if you stepped on people's heads to get yourself a raise in a king-size bed. That's the ambitious big shot with a phony photocopy doctorate. He passed it off cool, but Brady didn't get caught with it. It worked out to the point where he had his own offices. He made his cousin work over the counter with the pharmacist. He had a toy stethoscope and a rubber tip syringe, fake blood on his scrubs and someone else's germs on his gloves. The plaques on the walls were made by trophy engravers. His first patient had the flu, he only hoped he could save her. Eventually he panicked and overdosed her to sleep with the anonymous painkillers he had bought on the street. And then he took advantage of the only option at hand. He robbed her of her wedding band, packed a bag and ran. Now he's living 6 lives on the account of one body. He forgot who he is, he can't remember his name. It's people like that who turn open minds to skeptics and make it so you have to keep your trust in friends separate. Giving me reason to be antisocial if I want to. I talk to myself, I don't need anyone to talk to. The day I confide in the dial-up psychic is the day that California's geologically divided by the shifting plates of the Great Quake. The human race will die and I'll be watching the sun sink behind a sunken skyline island.
Everyone's a liar, face, daily deception.
Everyone's a liar.
I hope one day I'll learn my lesson.
Everyone's a liar.
I have neglected my instinct far too many times.
Everyone's a liar.
Everyone's a liar. Everyone's a liar.
Everyone's a liar.
Everyone's a liar.
Around for Jesus Christ and Lucifer, they act out to our circumstantial damage to this wounded earth. The swinging sickle cycle of skin seeping through the reaper's dirt, purposely rebirthing us to forever feed the universe. The worth of everything that hurts is equivalent to your existence. Neither of them matter after 3-dimension stiffness, along with any status from material richness or the hours spent structuring some hole in the wall business. It'll all be forgotten on the way to hyperspace, where life expectancy is never measured by the time it takes. But when your soul's willing to recruit active this ball of hate, to spend another 80 years finding less and less to tolerate. We're smothered to death in automated products made to dominate, using human labor back to shut the fuck up and cooperate, while they distract us by placing famous faces on frosted flakes. Reaching for the stars by losing weight to get a model space. Now touching the stars, orbiting our mistakes, some are lost in space. In the cosmopolitan constellation of constant pain, staying in shape for social sake. How the fuck are we supposed to concentrate on abolishing the problems made? If we can't step on the caution tape. Restrictions without $1 million in your pocket and a pretty face to get permission. Restrictions without $1 million in our pocket and a pretty face to get permission. Lots of shit needs to be fixed so this world can naturally operate. We got machines to peel trees from the landscape to feed the fireplace, but not even Paul Bunyan can cut it under pressure. He proved his inferiority to the 1,000 chainsaw shredders. Even his ox was left forgotten, lost in the faded pages of heroic inspiration, buried in a folklore graveyard with every other spectator gimmick the time screwed. The ox never really liked being forced to be dyed blue, and Paul was constantly exhausted but signed a contract that promised he'd never miss a day of showing off to the populace, mass murdering entire forests in a matter of minutes. Him and Babe were no more than giant commodity spectator gimmicks. And I know quite a few desperate egos who would proudly bear that title and go sign up to be instant celebrities on American Idol, or swallow pit testes on TV in hopes of local notoriety. I think I'd rather stay home being forced to conform to society. I've seen many faulty fences of the white picket variety, where the American dream means contemplating sobriety, a place where everybody pretends that they're who they'd like to be. That's just the kind of shit that pumps the pistons that are driving me. I'll never run out of fuel as long as there's trash on the sidewalk, or the junkie on the street corner playing fetch with his blind dog. And if it wasn't for the dirty surface disguised beauty of this wounded earth, it wouldn't be the battleground for Jesus Christ and Lucifer. Just remember that. Every galaxy has its God.
Just a regular locksmith lost in hospitals, humming myself still for suffocation's sakes. A waste of hand gestures, remotely aware. This human farce parched and partially composed. A wishbone oatmeal odorless hole redundant, the unsung seamscape that's seemingly stagnant. Split of the oil slick, immunity seat of the heart, murmur the noise climbs on alpha tranquil. Clouds be separate, while the latter weeks catch up with yesteryear, and I'm no more a musician than my wristwatch.
I'm allergic to oxygen almost as much as I'm immune to being hustled in my room. Every other indecision to be pushed over where I belong. It's a feeling comparable to whippet head changes while strapped to the ceiling. It's only fun until you're stuck upside down, heavy-headed from the blood rush flood to the brain. It's quite numbing. Spread the spackle to fill the holes in the hearts of the born unfortunate, overlooked dark targets. My name is Richie, to some I'm Simantic, to others I'm an art faggot getting butt-fucked by my passion.
The timeline's a hostage, and even a broken clock's right twice a day. Attic venting, helpless, torn, cornucopes myself, the Costa face, checkered eyelids, persuasive feds with custom back talk, poster existence, barcode for a mouth, numerics and then some to soak through connotation. I'm definitely love spun, but can't seem to write about it.
The slipping axle, grinding halt, whiplash, soul attachment, minor adjustment, to most of the vegetable force fed to paralysis. These walls are filled with tally marks, their hearts etched with calluses. There's not one hole on the ceiling that hasn't been counted by every bedridden blank stare bound to jeopardy. Pick a magic number in the buy it till you're paranoid, scare yourself to scattered pieces. Carousel never stops long enough for me to get a seat. Or maybe I'm a lazy opportunist prone to ruin me. Well, actually, that's already been established to be an accurate depiction of my current status. My preferable horse is the one that goes the highest, but I'll for the pony depending on how the line is. I'm a self-made whatever I choose to be. I like to speak my demands and opinions fluently, but usually life doesn't prevail the way I predicted it, so I follow the flow to swallow the moment and live with it. There's no time to contrast the past with now's differences. There's no such thing as a consistent coincidence. Cause I'm a believer there's reason for every leaf turned in the wind, and a purpose to every tree that's been burned to a crisp, while prior instances accumulate into how we've learned to exist and even prolong our lives thanks to Dr. Microchip with infinite technological possibilities to kill. Now any random chemical can be compressed into pill form. Eventually fast food value meals will be less than a handful. You'll get a cheeseburger, fries, and a Coke and 3 gel caps. Cause we're just information gluttons overdosing on the internet with our eyes attached to the monitor's picture text. You can murder a day clicking away wired on coffee and cigarettes, glued to an office chair unaware you haven't had lunch or dinner yet. It's only a matter of time before you're obsessed with EverQuest, spending all your low-wage paychecks on virtual treasure chests. If there's a chance to boost your status, you'll buy it despite what the price is. If this is you, you're having an electronic identity crisis. So get a life and ditch the avatar, split personality, cause your Cantonese cybergirl might really be a white guy named Anthony. You never know, so just remember you're not in Kansas when often see the wizard. We can't escape the wicked witches, pop-up propaganda. In the land of excessive living, media's our god. He's that background distraction to keep us from thinking our own thoughts. In the land of insecure commenters, media's our king, puppeteering the public's opinion with various types of strings. TV's one of these mediums, and it doesn't have to cost much before you're immobilized on your sofa for hours with your jaw stuck, all locked up from the eyes down, dumbfounded and awestruck by desperate commercials that hold no relevance to the product. And you can no longer avoid people trying to get you to buy shit, not even in your own house and trying to sleep sound in silence. Cause along comes the kamikaze telemarketers alliance, randomizing harassment with automated advertisements. These fucks have the manners of a piss happy puppy, except they know what they're doing and they'll say almost anything for money.
You never trust a salesman if he speaks with a knotted tongue, cause he's been lying through his teeth so long he's down to rotting If I could escape it all I would, but I can't, so I don't try. Other than daydreaming that I can see life through a crow's eyes, wondering what it would be like perched on a clothesline, so high above the fast pace of the city I could live on my own time. It sounds so nice, doesn't it? No government, no bold lies, no more brown nose diving authority types in bow ties. There's no rope tied to your throat so you don't fly, no more risk of turning into a toxic waste of a low life. And since reality's the opposite of what most of us hope for, our wishes tend to morph into forgotten folklore. Cause when I try to quit my vices to see what it's like to feel sober, I'm like the little engine that thought it could but ran out of coals and keeled over. And until action speaks for itself, I'll be lacking accomplishments, while my personality mimics how bent my posture is. This slouch makes a perfect shell for my heart out of my rib cage. It makes my silhouette arch like a bridge frame.
I'd like to say thank you to tomorrow for always being there as another chance to risk pissing in the wind.
Combination of routine residence dwelling for 2 years straight, stopping smoking cold turkey and mixing these stresses with psychoactive drugs in the middle of a family crisis only made me stuck in a glitch, kicking my heels, hoping to drift closer to comfort rather than get carried by a current too thick to defy. This neglected heartbeat's been taken for granted for the last time, so in return of its negligence, the pumping process slows and the sweat pours profusely for longer than I can stand. I've stood here with my hands tied, tripping over my planned life and watching it deorganize into the most simplistic form of fuck it. Time wasters. Imagine emerging from the rubble that was once a brittle stem that helped keep your composure from that predestined bend that eventually snapped and spiraled you down to the depths of the detailed complexities of a self-inflicted mess. Rerouting your digression back to backwards baby steps and limiting the elastic range in which an open mind can stretch. The moral of the example might be blatant common sense. Dwelling on days before is just more thought at your expense. In my life, each second is followed by a second thought. Each step, each breath is just another second thought. So I buy my time with a conservative budget. I'd like to save till I accumulate the cost to kick the bucket. I heard it's like a flash of life projecting everything I paid for. I just hope they're right. If not, I would've rather saved more. Cause remorse is for those who live their lives in reversal, never quite remembering the placement of their herd. I've got a head full of pearls and nowhere to display them. I'm that agoraphobic, totally equipped with mini blind surveillance. I've been caught chasing my tail on more than one occasion. I've been down in this hole I created ever since it caved in, mimicking my spiraling snowballs, consistent cadence of collecting things that weigh me down to the point where I feel weightless, speeding down a frozen tsunami avalanche of woven hatred toward my incomprehension of the term life is what you make it. So say it's sacred to keep a routine on a daily basis, but people like me will never have the patience to pace it. You end up suppressing adrenaline and collapsing your life's climax, frequently scheming reasons and excuses to be sidetracked, winging the fly trap, restraining any escape. A slim chance to get a life back without drastic change. The only user-friendly emotional conversion that works safely, maybe the full realization of all the time that you're wasting. With all the infinite possibilities passing by daily, you think you'd have a chance to choose when you go crazy. All the infinite possibilities passing by daily, you think you'd have a chance to choose when you go crazy. All the infinite possibilities passing by daily, you think you'd have a chance to choose when you go crazy.
Hey, yo, Rich.
Yo.
Hey, can you believe that there's some people out there that don't even know what it's like to get cold, stupid deaf?
What?
Yeah. We're gonna put it on them right now.
Let's get dope on these motherfuckers.
Cold getting stupid deaf, gonna use up every rhyme till there's no more left. Cause cold getting stupid deaf, gonna use up every rhyme till there's no more left. Cause cold getting stupid deaf, gonna use up every rhyme till there's no more left.
9 milli clip, 2 deep, double dipping with a 40 in a blunt, 2 bodies in the trunk. What now? I ain't fucking around, mobbing this Suzuki. I live my life like it's a rated R movie. I turn rupees into sushi with a chopstick and a chainsaw. Or any motherfucker caught slipping on Crenshaw. I'm the man of steel, baby. My balls are Benoit. Bringing that old school skill like my master Splinter. Who knows what kind of burns test the heat with Sanja? Maybe 2nd degree. I'm repping MC till I'm stepping in glee. A sleeves, grease, ball, Steve, freeze. G for gangsta, B for boo. Who you?
Keep it poppin'? Nah, I'm sharecropping the grocery shopping. Happy gang bang, cause I'm down with the change. Red Dragon, Phoenix suit. Got your 101, but I'm down the scenic route. Sucking back long necks, bumping Jim Croce. Months is at my side, cold spraying some shit. About another hubba that he's trying to get with. I'm so dope that if you put L in front of it, I'd be the dope in Spanish. You suckers can't hang, that's why you're swinging from my balls. I'm so crafty, you could call me Martha Stewart. 4-track rhymes with triple Lexus Scott Hubert. Still blowing more smoke than tomorrow, man. And these sets are still trying to touch my hand. Yeah. And it leaves its mark beside your rinse and underwear. Hey, Rich. They still don't know?
Still don't know?
Cold, stupid, deaf? Yo, cause what? Cold getting stupid deaf. Gonna use up every rhyme till there's no more left. Cause cold getting stupid deaf. Gonna use up every rhyme till there's no more left. Cause cold getting stupid deaf. Gonna use up every rhyme till there's no more left.
Cold getting stupid.